I thought this was supposed to be about impressing cretins on YouTube. Where?
And we're back. What's up, everybody? We're making a video live videos. So, as we said after yesterday's good day, we'll be in a gambling mood today. Now, some of our gambles had already taken place with the gap up on the energy stocks. Now, you know how much I love the RIG and the WLL and the FEYE. Guess what? We're still in all of those, and they're all up today, even though the market is tanking. Now, that is a really good feeling, a feeling that maybe you're onto something, maybe you're doing something right, and you should appreciate that fact. If you're in stocks that are up on a day like this, you picked stocks at really great prices, like the WLL, like the Alcoa, like the US Steel, like the RIG. But let's focus on the ones that we own. RIG, up 5.5%. FEYE, almost stayed above 17 there for a second. And of course, let's talk about the trade that we did. AMD. I told you we'd be in a gambling mood this morning, right? So AMD, even though we were already in the stock, once it broke 5, well really once it broke 587 was a significant price for me. I figured the stock had a good shot to go to 5. Now, the market being as weak as it was, we thought it might have been a little muted there at 5. But because when a stock breaks a big number like 5, shorts have to make their move. If you're short AMD and you're trying to milk this trade for whatever reason, there's going to be a number where you say, all right, I'm wrong. And that's a big number like number 5. And usually when a stock breaks 5, back in the day, you'd get you 750. Stocks get to 750 to get to 10. But that wasn't what we were looking for. We were looking for this thing to break the 487, and then there was the 492. Once it broke 492, you had to assume $5 was coming. And once it got through the 5 with pretty much no resistance, you had to look for another 12 cents on it. And it got to 517, we put a stop on it at 511, and now we're done. Meaning, if AMD was to go to 0 today, yeah, I still have some, but the overall day trade for AMD is kind of over right now. I don't know, where is it now? AMD, I've lost it. Oh, 508. So still below our stop out price for the day trade. When I say day trade, the day trades are the ones that you're taking more size because you're just trying to trade them for the day, make what you can, and get out. Now, what I like to do is when a day trade goes my way, and the reason I'm still in AMD from back at $3.85 or whatever it was, that day, same scenario, it went green. We had a great day with it, so I decided to hang on to some, and I'm still in it. Same thing with FEYE from 13. Same thing with RIG from $10.20. Same thing with the WLL. That one's, Mike, I don't even know what my cost average is on this last couple of hundred shares I own, but all these stocks are looking pretty good. Now, I just want to reiterate again, in case you're wondering about the UVXY, SVXY. We're out. We won the day. We got the SVXY down to $47.50. That was the price you wanted to be buying it. We didn't catch the bottom. We chased it a little bit, still managed to make some money. And today it's been actually SVXY once and UVXY both on the long side because the day's pretty damn choppy. And you know what? You got a little bit of money out of both of those trades. So it's a pretty extraordinary day so far. Not blockbuster, but hey, look, if you bought 50,000 shares of AMD at $4.94, you're having one of the best days ever. Maybe you got some of those $5 calls. We were trying to buy them at 2. I'm not going to bullshit you, even though I could, because these videos don't mean a thing, right? Sure, actually, you know what? Sure. We bought 100,000 $5 calls on AMD, and everybody in the room made 20 grand on the trade. It's fantastic. Guess what? You won't know if I'm telling the truth until you show up. You won't know anything until you show up. You won't know if that last video I made about SPXY was true unless you show up. You won't even know if I actually ever put a trade on ever again. Whether it doesn't matter or it does matter, does matter or doesn't matter, my job is to make a little bit and then show other people how to do it also. So, the only way you're going to really know the truth, and I always say this, stop in. It's free. Come hang out for a month. If you can't decide whether or not what I'm doing in the room is legit or not, whether I'm trading or not, remember that video about fuck me? Fuck me. Doesn't matter what I do. If I give you 100 good ideas in a row,
I'm not going to listen to this guy. I don't even think he puts trades on himself.
What do you care? What do you care that I'm not trading? I didn't buy the UVXY again at 14. You knew if it broke back over 14 and the VWAP and the blah, 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 the stock was going to go higher. What do you care if I bought the AMD or whatever? I told it, I was begging you to buy the AMD. What do you care if I bought it or not? So that's really the moral of the story. Come on in, hang out, have a good time, and learn something. And remember, it's not a one-day affair. You can't stop in because you might stop in the day we're just talking about guns. Because I love talking about guns. In about 6 hours, I'm going to pick up my Mossberg 930A1 with the bayonet and the laser scope. That's really all I'm focused on right now. I'm just counting down the hours now to go make this drive down to this gun place down south and pick up more weapons and get my son that bow. Get some targets out in the back. The kid's actually pretty good at shooting the bow. It's something a dad could be proud of. Your son nailing rabbits from 40 yards away. Not that we're killing rabbits in our backyard, but you get the idea. We're a weapon family. One guy says, "Are you sure you're Jewish?" Because I talk a lot about fishing and guns and outdoor stuff. And it's not typically, Jews don't hunt. I've actually never gone hunting. I'm a big fisherman, but I am going to go hunting because, hey, I got a bunch of shotguns and I heard there's this great place to go pheasant hunting. They actually rent a dog, which is hilarious. You rent the dog runs into the bushes, scares the pheasants out of the bushes. You blast him. The dog goes and gets the pheasant for you, brings it back to you,
You
and then
said
they
the
clean it
market
and you
never
eat it.
goes down.
It's not something I can do. I'm not going to go hunt something that I'm not going to eat. And I would never shoot a deer. Funny story about a deer hunting. These guys, some of the guys in my family, they take it really serious. They don't really go deer hunting anymore, but we had one cousin, or I guess he might have been an uncle. Doesn't matter. He takes it so damn serious. He bought one of them. He bought one of those, those setups where you could go into the tree. It's like an automatic tree house, and he's up there in the tree. He's got deer scent that he sprays himself with. He gets fully camouflaged. He doesn't make a sound, and he just sits there waiting to blow somebody away. And then you got my Uncle Angelo, God rest his soul. He brings a sandwich, and he's smoking. He's got his Remington rifle, but he also has a handgun. He's sitting there smoking a cigarette, probably under the tree where my other cousin was stalking in the tree with all his fancy equipment and deer scent. My Uncle Angelo's down on the ground, eating a sandwich and smoking a cigarette. The deer comes walking up to him. So he pulls out his Beretta and blasts the deer right in the face. Boom. And that is probably one of the greatest Christmas stories that I've ever heard. Because it just shows you, and again, let's relate it somehow to the stock market. Whatever works, basically, is the point I'm making. Whatever works. You could take it serious, you could do your homework, you could read your charts, you could put camouflage on and deer scent. But every once in a while, the deer's going to walk up to you and you're going to shoot it with a handgun. It's all bullshit. You just got to, whatever works, man. Whatever works. And I tell you, I'm a little embarrassed about the WLL. There's something called, I like to say, penny wise, pound foolish. So I'm so excited about the WLL pulling back, even though I own it. And again, I'm down to that last. I think I got 100 for both of my kids. Usually I buy 100 share lots of stocks that I like, and I throw it into my kids' account. Kind of because I don't want to look at it. So I'm sitting there waiting to buy it, and I'm waiting for my price. I wanted to see it test 1051 again, possibly maybe even break down. So it's the reverse form of greed. I liked it at 1250. Then at 1150, I say, all right, maybe I can get this lower. And then I even get it lower, right down to 1060. And my brain says, all right, well, you loved it at 12.50. Why not just buy it here at 10.60? What's your downside risk? Maybe another 50 cents? At least buy some, and I didn't. And now look at it, it's up to 11.80. So the moral of that particular story is if you get the stock to where you want it to be, just put something on, because it's better to have something than nothing. Like the SVXY yesterday. You had to buy a little at 47.50. That was our target. Like WMB. Like GoGo. I'm sorry. Oh, did I mention GoGo out loud? I meant to say GoPro. GoPro, as much as this is a terrible stock, if you had bought it last year, now it's a great stock. Stock hits the low nines. 3 days later, it's back to 10. Sometimes it breaks 10 and goes to 11. But the stock's in a 9 to 11 range. So you know, buying a little bit down in the nines, you buy a little bit. If it pops the next day and it's up $1, at least you make $100. And if it pulls back, you know you only got 100 shares. You could add a little bit more if that move back up takes a little bit longer, like 3 or 4 days. And if it doesn't work, then what are you down? Maybe $50. If it breaks down and goes through the level where you've decided that that's your pain threshold or where you think it's going to break down to, and that's it. Like SQ. Like SQ. This stock's driving me nuts. I buy the SQ, I got a great price. I'm about to buy more, pulls back 30 cents. Some stocks just don't do it, but I like the SQ. I think it's getting taken over. And let me repeat my takeover candidates for the next 18 months to 3 years. Still loving the ACAD, ACAD. I still think the FEYE, and let's talk about the FEYE again, because I still own it. Not a lot. Still got my 200. The thing about FEYE, and it popped because there was a lot of call buying the other day, right? And the news came out saying that the takeover talks are off the table. But there was a few companies that liked FEYE enough to be at the table. So instead of looking at it as when the news came out that the talks are over, people think, oh, the deal's not happening. Maybe the talks are over because the deal is done. They never did elaborate on the story. But what the talks have done, it's given FEYE a higher valuation. If somebody wants to buy it at 26, boom. It's officially now worth $26. If there's a guy sniffing around willing to pay 32, which was one of the rumors, that kind of gives it a little bit more of a valuation, and that's kind of something you want to own. Because what's your downside risk here? You're risking in a catastrophe. I wouldn't let the stock go below $14.85 on the FEYE. So you're risking 2 for a possible takeover at 22. So you're risking 2 to make about 5.5, possibly maybe even more. Risk reward. It's worth it. You'd rather have your money in a little bit of FEYE? What? You got $3,000 worth of FEYE. Worst case scenario, you're losing $400. But I still think your money's better served, excuse me, in the market. That's why the market has a hard time going down. I know it's down today, but round and round and round we go. And when they don't work, you just sell them. That's the hardest part of trading. Nobody wants to take a loss. If it doesn't work, if FEYE starts breaking down, breaks to 14, probably at 15 I'd probably be thinking about getting rid of it. But it's better, my money's better served. AMD. Why wouldn't you want to own AMD? Looks like this thing's got another 20% to go higher. So am I going to risk, what? If you're buying it here, well, let's call it $5. You're buying it at 5. You're risking that this thing could roll over and go back to 5.30, I think, some decent support. Sorry, 4.30. You're risking 50 or 60 cents to try to make possibly, $1, $1.50. And if AMD turns into a legitimate stock again, hey, this thing used to be 5, would get you 7.50. I'm not saying AMD's going to 7.50 today or tomorrow or the next week, but looks like it's a good enough stock that you want to keep on the books. All right, just let me reiterate one more time. If SVXY was to go down 10 points today, it would phase me nothing because I don't own any. I don't own any UVXY, and I don't own any SVXY. Let me reiterate. I don't have either one of those stocks, nor do I think you should own either one of these stocks. There's so much action lately, up and down, that now's the time just to be trading them. The time to own SVXY was when this market was trending higher for 4 months. Now it is just a trade. But if you want to own something, FEYE, RIG, AMD, WLL, SQ. I still got the QQQ straddle on. Loving the GoPro on the dips. And you'll notice I mentioned the same 10 or 15, 20 stocks over and over again. It's because we know these ranges. We're like savants. I wasn't watching WLL yesterday. Somebody said, hey, Kenny, it's down to 10.59. What are you going to do? See, that's the kind of community I want to build. Everybody knows what we're looking for, and we help each other make money. All right, that's the end of the video. Have a good weekend, and maybe my wife says I probably shouldn't make videos with weapons, but maybe I'll just hire a girl in a bikini to demonstrate the shotgun. That'd be fun. Because there's nothing more fun than watching women in bikinis shooting guns. I don't know if that does it for you, but it does it for me. I love women tennis players. I like women when they shoot guns. I like women that talk about finance. And I especially love a woman that could sing rock and roll. All right. Well, now you know about my fetishes. Have a nice day. Have a nice weekend. See you. Oh, did I mention I don't own any SVXY or UVXY? Okay. Just wanted to go over that one more time. So if SVXY is down 5 points, you can't say,
Oh, but you told me to buy it. You told me it never goes down.
I don't own it. Just to reiterate one more time, I don't own it. Wouldn't own it. Don't want to own it. Too much fun trading it. So if you didn't catch the last 5 or 6 minutes of the video, I don't own any SVXY or UVXY. I own WLL, FEYE, AMD, and obviously I haven't even mentioned Alcoa, but well, you all know I own Alcoa. Now that stock's a piece of shit. I got some SQ. I will be buying WMB sooner or later and pot for the portfolio, but only at my price. And take a look at UVXY now. This market is a little bit afraid over the weekend, so we're seeing UVXY hanging around. Kids got alligator skin. Oh yeah, before I go on, before I forget to mention, I don't own the Qs. I'm playing what's called a short strangle. I'm short calls and I'm short puts, hoping that the Qs basically travel between, right now I've got hundreds and 114s for August. I got 98s and 115s for September, and I have 94s and 115s for December. So as long as we keep going sideways, every day gets closer to expiration, and it's fantastic. I don't even own the Qs in theory. I own them if they plummet down to 100. But if we were to break 105.50, I'd probably start suggesting that you unwind out of some of this position. But I don't think any of my guys are in this thing. So I don't own the Qs. Maybe, again, and I don't know if when I looked into the camera right now and I said, yesterday's lows will be the lows of the year. And I think after that statement I said, but it doesn't matter because I don't care. Nothing matters except that we made money on AMD today. And that's pretty much it. All right. Have a good weekend.